Hi everyone, welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I've got a fun card to share with you today that includes pastel colors. This is Blushing Bride, and I'm going to be featuring the brand new May Flowers framelits on this card, as well as this beautiful, irresistibly floral designer paper. I'm going to show you how to do the resist technique and do some die cutting, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. Remember too that I've posted still photos of the project along with cutting dimensions over on my blog, so you'll want to head over there. The address is on the screen. While you're there, I encourage you to take a look at my online classes tab. I've got lots of fun stuff there for you. Looking up close, you can see the beautiful resist of this white embossed paper. Now the paper comes assorted inside the irresistibly floral designer pack. I actually have it here for you. Now it's in a sheet protector, so I know you're going to get some glare, so I'm going to ask for your forgiveness. Let me pull out a couple pieces. This one is a different pattern with a swirl. Look at that. And you can see that I've sponged over that, and this is with Pear Pizzazz. So it resists the area where there is actually white embossing on the paper. It's just stunning, isn't it? Now there's also small polka dots. I'm going to see if you can try to see that. And then here's one that we're using now. This one is just in the new Peekaboo Peach. You've got some diamonds or herringbone, and there's some smaller flowers here. I'm trying to get this out of the glare. There you go. And finally, there's stripes, which are just really traditional. Can't go wrong with those, and they're even great for men. So I actually cut myself a piece of that designer series paper, and it's measuring 3.5 by 4 3/4. Remember, all the dimensions are on my blog, so you don't have to worry about writing them down now, as well as still photographs. I'm going to use Blushing Bride ink, and I'm actually using a Stampin' Sponge, and I just cut this into a wedge from the round circle it comes in. Now they do get stained with usage. I wash them out with soap and water, just regular dish soap. I let them air dry, and even though they're stained, you're going to see that they come nice and clean. So you can use them over and over again in other colors. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to dab off because I want to make sure it's not too strong. I want to be able to control the color. And I'm going to use circular motion. So I'm going to use a little bit more color. I'm going to go around and around. Now I'm not going to fill the entire thing. I'm going to leave some areas of it variegated so that you can see the white. I just think that makes it extra pretty. Okay, so you can go as much or as little as you'd like. I think I'm going to add a little bit more off here to the side. There we go. So I'm happy with that. This is a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, and this measures 5 by 3 3/4, and that's just for the layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my snail adhesive. I'm going to put a little bit in the 4 corners on the back of that beautiful designer paper, and that's going to get mounted here. I'm going to rub from the back because I tend to have inky fingers. Next, I'm going to work on the greeting, and I decided to stamp in basic gray ink. I wanted it to stand out without it being too lost because the rest of the card is very light in tone. And this is the happy birthday from the stamp set called Cottage Greetings. Really fun. I love the script, and I love the other small little flowers and things that are inside of here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in the basic gray ink right here in the center. Now I wanted some flowers around it because I thought it was kind of light. So I'm going to go back to my Blushing Bride, and I'm also using So Saffron. But I want to make sure that my flowers are not too predominant to steal away from my background. These 2 flower images are actually from the sister stamp set to that die we're going to use. This is called Falling Flowers. So here are the flowers here. There's some other really fun pieces, and you can see that this matches that designer series paper just beautifully. Now, you can buy this in a bundle and save 10%. It comes with the framelits that are called May Flowers. Now we are going to use the one that's real open and filigreed, and actually matches the designer series paper to actually put the flower on the card. You're going to notice too that there's a little tiny black line right here. Can you see it? Let's take this off and see if maybe you can see it better. Do you see it? These are on the pieces that have matching dies, the 2 particular flowers. Why are they there? Well, I'm going to tell you. If you were going to stamp, and I'm going to show you here on my grid paper, and you wanted to die cut this flower is not symmetrical. And you can see that little nib actually picks up ink to leave a positioning mark, which I think is brilliant. So here we go. we've got the dies out here, and I am going to look for the one that matches that, which is this one here. And you can see that this little tick mark goes here. So guess what? When you put this on your Big Shot platform, you have an absolutely perfect alignment every time. You don't have to fuss with trying to figure out which way it fits. I have to say, I thought that was a really brilliant move. Now, I want to be careful because I don't want that tick mark on here. So I'm going to be really careful to check this, and I'm going to make it lighter. So I'm going to stamp very gently. I'm checking. It looks good. I'm stamping off. And then I'm going to stamp some flowers on and around the words. Yep, checking. It looks good. So I've got a few there. And I'm going to do the same thing now with this tiny flower. Checking. Look, I'm good. I'm stamping off. Stamping off. Yep, we're looking good. And I'm going to put a couple flowers on here. So now I'm happy with that. So now let's die cut the oval using the Big Shot. All right, I've got my Big Shot. I have my magnetic platform, which is going to hold the die beautifully. I'm going to need 2 acrylic mats. One will have to go on the bottom. I'm going to put my paper next. And then we're going to use the layering oval framelits. Now, if you haven't seen them yet, here they are. They are very stacked in size. So the difference between what I've numbered 1 and 2 is literally like 1/8 of an inch. So I've numbered these an odd number and these an even number so that I know that they can layer together with a small margin. My scallops I labeled A through F so that I know that they're different. Obviously, if I could keep numbering them, that would be fine too. But I found that I believe on this one, I am using number 5. Let's see. Yep, it is number 5. You can just choose the one that best fits your needs. I'm going to stick this right on top of here. And then what I'm going to do is put my other clear mat over the top. That magnetic platform is going to ensure that it's going to hold everything in place. Now I'm going to give this a slight turn because I'm actually fighting with the tripod for the video camera just so that you can see. So I'm going to crank that through. Gotta love the Big Shot. Doesn't require any power. If you buy it from me, Stampin' Up! Provides a 3-year warranty on that product, which is not what you get from a standard retail store. So now we've got our words cut out. I'm looking going, what is that little smudge of ink? You know, as all the stamping I do, my fingers are always messy. There's always something there, but you know what? We can always hide that, and I'm going to show you how. So now we've got the greeting. We're not quite done with the Big Shot yet. So I'm going to bring that back in, and now we're going to die cut that flower. Magnetic platform once again, but this time we're going to make a change. We're going to add in the precision base plate, and it's going to stick nicely to that magnetic platform. You're probably wondering why the difference. This is why. Look how intricate this is, and we have dies that are even more intricate than that. What you want is you want a nice firm surface on the bottom besides the clear mat to give you a really nice cut. So my Blushing Bride paper, and then of course my die. So no clear mat is on the bottom. All I need now is a clear mat on the top. When I have real intricate dies, I like to crank all the way through. And then when I hear that pop, that usually panics a lot of people, I come backwards. Just by putting it through twice, there and back, it just assures me I've got a good cut on my paper. So I'm going to take this off. And so now we've got our die, and you're going to see some of that already came out. Isn't that precision base plate just fabulous? But here's the next best secret, and you're probably thinking, what is that in a box? Well, this is actually the Big Shot die brush. I actually put it just in a small box to contain all the scraps, because I'm going to tell you what, I've got paper everywhere in here. The bristles on this are semi-stiff, so all you have to do is just roll over it like a rolling pin. And what's going to happen is it's actually going to start to loosen, but here's the best part, no poking. You gotta love that. And this is fabulous as you get to more intricate dies that we sell. Now, I took this little image and I added Wink of Stella to it because I love shimmer. And I know it's really hard to see in the photograph, but in person it is stunning. And for those of you that love it as much as I do, I'm going to give you some tips. Just make sure you have scratch paper underneath you. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this. I kind of just stroked in one direction and I just covered it. And does it have to be perfect? No, because it's really forgiving and because the shimmer really stands out. Any spot that you may miss is going to be so small, it's not going to be noticeable. And we're going to do some layering with the words. The other great thing about the Wink of Stella is that it dries very quickly. We also sell it in gold, which is a beautiful tone, especially for fall. Boy, I can't wait to use it on the leaves and some of those fall harvest projects that I'm going to be doing and sharing with you. So there we go. We've got the Wink of Stella on there. And I don't know, can you see how pretty that is? Oh, it's beautiful. I wish you were here to see it in person. Okay, make sure you store your Wink of Stella straight up and down. That's going to keep it from clogging and making sure that it flows nicely for you every time that you use it. The great part about this is it does dry really quickly. So now we can go ahead and put our project together. I'm going to start with Whisper White cardstock. This measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to fold it in half with my bone folder. Remember that layer we put together. I'm going to add more snail adhesive to the back. And I'm going to mount that to the front of my card. This has a little bit wider border than I normally make, but I really kind of liked it. And now this is going to go here, and you're thinking, how are you going to do this? Well, I'm going to give you a couple tips. You can use the fine tip glue, but I find it dries very quickly, so you'd have to work really fast. You can use glue dots. Or you can use the multi-purpose, and I'm looking for it in my drawer, the multi-purpose liquid glue. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. It's tacky. I prefer it more for 3D projects than cards, and you're going to want to use it very sparingly. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And literally what you're looking for is just a tiny, tiny dot. It is really strong. The other thing is when you're making a card, you don't have to glue down every single little petal. You just want to make sure that there's enough glue on there that it's actually going to hold it in place. And I know you probably can't even see it coming out, can you? Because I'm being really careful not to put too much because I don't want it to weep through the front of my beautiful die. So any of those are going to work. I'm going to place that off here to the side. I like to flip upside down and rub from the back, because if I have glue on my hands or I have any residual ink, it's going to transfer all over to the front of there. So now we have that in place. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of the greeting. And I'm actually going to do 2. And I'm also going to add some silver metallic twine. Now this one's near the end, so it looks like I taped the ends shut. And I'm going to show you how I do this. I love this stuff. I really, really, really do. Now, I want it long, which means I want it to go this way. So we're going to add a little bit of the silver twine to the back. Now, this is rather long, so I am going to stretch it across both ends. I just thought the shimmer with the Wink of Stella was really stunning. This is actually a lot easier than it looks, folks, so don't let this deter you. You just want to make sure you have your ends stuck to those dimensionals so that you can get that little loopy look to the twine. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to cut this off. This is one of those projects you're not going to put a whole lot of thought into. When you put the stuff on, just stick it on there. So I'm going to go here and here to make sure I've got a little bit more sticky covered on the back. I'm going to peel off those backings. Okay, and now this I'm going to position on here on the front of my card. Now remember I told you about this? I don't know, what is it with me lately? I've got yucky fingers all the time, just doing a lot of stamping. So we're going to fix that. Let's embellish it. I'm a firm believer that if you can't hide it, you decorate it. So I'm going to pick up one of those. They already have the rhinestones, have the glue dots on the back. Love that. And I'm going to take another one. I'm going to put that one, I'm probably going to go over here, and then a third one. I like to work in a triangle pattern just because I think it's more pleasing to the eye. And the other one I'm going to stick over here. So there we go. I'm just going to make sure those are pressed down. They shouldn't fall off. There you go. Isn't that stunning? So here's the one we created today. Here's the original one. Remember to head over to my blog for the dimensions and the still photographs, and make sure you check out my online classes tab. I've got PDF tutorials for you, and I've got stamps in the mail, lots of fun things, and lots more inspiration. I'm so glad that you've joined me today, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.